I'd like to point out some facts this morning. And I waited a few weeks because I was fairly upset after it first happened. And it's very easy at those times to you don't need to make a YouTube post when you're mad. So, this is concerning the incident in Nashville at the Presbyterian school. First off, I'd like to commend Metro Nashville. They showed how you handle these situations. As soon as you got somebody to watch you back, you hit the door. You don't wait to ask somebody. You don't wait to see what the policy is. You go get that. Has anybody noticed that nearly 100% of these shooters, and this is going all the way back to Columbine, that they are conflicted about their orientation and their identity. This is nothing new. This goes all the way back most of them stood out to the people that knew them because they were weird. Has anybody noticed that nearly 100%, as far as I can tell? Because these things are never talked about. God forbid we talk about that. But has anybody ever considered that nearly 100% of them come from a home in which their father did not live? Folks, you can skirt around the truth all you want. You can blame the tool all you want, but you're not going to stop these problems until you start nipping the things that cause them at the bud. It's the destruction of the family. The destruction of the nuclear family with a strong father, a dedicated mother. The heck with this me generation crap about what makes me happy. As parents, you have an obligation to raise your children. You get happy. The selfishness in our culture and the attitudes that have told people that it's okay to bail out on a partner because you're dissatisfied. You made your bed, sleep in it, and raise your family. Your first obligation is to the offspring that you have produced. Many of you don't realize that your first obligation is to the Creator that put you here. Probably the saddest thing about what happened in Nashville is that we have a law in Tennessee that allows for private and religious schools to develop their own handgun carry policy. You understand what that means? Those teachers could have been armed. All that school staff could have been armed. Visiting parents could have been armed. The principal could have been armed. It was a matter of choice. Yet nobody was there to fire just one shot. That person shot their way into the school. That's like blowing a trumpet and saying, "Here I come." Lastly, we need to talk about real evil. It exists. And we're living in a time when evil is going to make itself known more than at any time in the past. Paul tells us that we're not struggling against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities and the rulers of the darkness of this world in high places or heavenly places. There's only one way to combat that. And his name is Jesus. And you can play at mommy and daddy all you want to play. But until you have a good, solid nuclear family with God at the head, the Father as the high priest, and the mother as the dedicated servant to the whole family, that's probably hurting some people's feelings. Stuff like this is going to continue. Not only is it going to continue, it's going to get worse. I can hear some of you screaming now. The wife is the willing servant of all her family, and the man is the high priest. Y'all, I didn't say that. The Bible says that. As the head of the household, the man is directly responsible to God for providing not only sustenance, food, clothing, roof over the head, instructions as to how to live one's life with moral character. The father and husband is directly accountable to God for that. I wonder how many women have actually read Proverbs 31, starting at verse 10. It says, "Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? And the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her servants. She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth out not by night." That means she's available 24/7. "She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretches out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reaches forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and praises her. And this is what he says: many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Having been raised by such a woman, and having married such a woman, I will tell you that they receive the praise of all who know them. They may not have many followers on TikToks, and will definitely not have a booming OnlyFans page, but they will receive the respect of all who knew them for 2 generations after they've passed. Who can ask for more?